Hi and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast. We're coming to you from FUSION15 in New Orleans. I'm Kirsty Miguel. I'm here with Matt Hooper.
Hi, Kirsty.
Carlos Casanova.
Hello, Kirsty.
And we're chatting with David Wright from SDI. Hi,
Hello,
David.
Kirsty. Hi.
Nice to see you.
And it's nice to be here, actually. Thank you.
Hello, David. So, with SDI, my understanding, and I got to claim ignorance a little bit, I'm not as familiar with it, but from my understanding is what you guys really do is you really help the community and facilitate a lot of gathering and whatnot. It's not so much that you guys are creating the data and whatnot, but you're really going out to the community, gathering all that, and then kind of wrapping it up and putting it together. So could you kind of speak to, I know you've had some recent events that you've taken on some really big projects kind of thing to provide the community some value?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our industry moves quickly and slowly, Yeah. So, we've been spending some time over the last week or so looking at some of the processing services, specifically around our certification product, and listening to the community and listening to some of the experts in the community about the next level, the next shape of that, what it looks like for the next 5 years. And it's been very interesting, actually, to listen and engage with people and where they think the community's going as a practitioner, as somebody who is delivering that service,
Right.
So, SDI, we're very lucky to have a very strong community and a community that's receptive to speaking to each other. So it's always brilliant to do an experience event, for example, and see the community in action. So when they're together, speaking with each other. In fact, we did a really brilliant one recently in Romania, our first foray into Romania, into Cluj, which is a hotbed of technology and change. It's brilliant. It's a very interesting place. And we were able to bring the local community there in the Cluj area together for the first time under the Service Test banner.
Wow.
And the feedback was fantastic. So it's essentially a small conference. Yeah, it's an opportunity for people to listen to themselves, so people speak on behalf of the community, and then to engage and talk about their problems. And I think the feedback from that one, the major feedback was one lady, or few ladies I spoke to, said that I can't believe that people in the same industry have got the same problems.
Yeah.
We've all got the same problems.
Yeah.
And that was enlightening,
Yeah.
And it was great to be part of that, and it's just an example of the type of stuff we do. It's very much we very much help to move that information around. We support the community and their engagement and how they actually understand and
So Romania has been, they've been an outsourcing hotbed for a while. A lot of application development.
Yes.
They've started to take on call centers.
Yes.
And they've done a lot more of that because they're very multilingual there.
Yes.
So how have you found them embracing some of the international standards?
Yeah.
Do they see that as a value opportunity
do,
for them to reach
absolutely.
out to global companies?
So you're absolutely right. Certainly there was a lot of outsourcing organisations there, and certainly when we've spoken to one company in particular very closely about ISOs and standards and structure and frameworks, and absolutely yes, a lot more mature than I expected, to be honest. And I was very surprised with the quality and the engagement that they've got with the customers. And one of the customers that we've got out there, one of our customers, is going through that certification piece now. We did an assessment with them probably the best part of 6 weeks ago now. And they did really well on the assessment, and I didn't expect that. So it's been an eye-opener, really, and it's a great part of the world to be in and to support that community grow. And there's other areas too that we've been lucky enough to be part of as well this year, in the likes of Latin America, in the likes of India. So that's what we do, really, and we've got some, obviously products.
You raise an intriguing question to me, David, because I know in the U.S., and Carlos and I talk about this a lot, we all speak the same language here in the U.S. And different accents, but for the most part, it's the same language. And it's funny, we still struggle with nomenclatures and definitions significantly. I can't imagine how hard it is to serve a European market, where within our state borders, you're in different countries, cultures, dialects. To now take what's supposed to be a common language, which isn't, and now make people understand it. It has to be a challenge.
It is, and certainly the cultural thing is a massive one. So we were discussing it just now. When you've got a service that's spread over 3 or 4 different countries, and you've got the Dutch and the Germans and the French and the Italians delivering services.
No, forget the Italians, but that's...
Right. Then That's not easy. That's not easy. And when you come down to those cultural differences and trying to break down the silos and getting people to understand the end goal rather than the actual where you are now, not the here and now, what's going to happen.
Right.
I think some of the more successful organisations have been able to get over that barrier. Certainly diversity or that sort of inclusion, the training around that, the understanding, breaking that down. Some of the better organisations we've certainly seen have grasped that. But the other organisations haven't. Yeah, wow, that's tough. It's a tough place to be.
Well, anything culturally, I mean, jokingly, I mean, I'm Portuguese, my wife's Italian, but there are certain cultures that are more engaging, receptive, and others that are more like, I'm smarter than you, go away. So, and we won't get into which ones are which. But I would imagine that's got to be really a huge struggle to get those individuals to share and maybe even share that they don't know everything. But to get, and it's like, okay, look, we've talked to 500 other people or companies and across countries. So how do you even start to address that? Because I can imagine that's got to be, from a data gathering perspective, how do
I know what you mean.
Something's got to be skewed.
We've mentioned listening, and I think you've got to have you've got to be able to tell an organisation that. Because once you've lifted that veil, a lot of organisations don't see it.
Right.
They don't see it. All they see is that delivery thing, and who's broken in the delivery thing, and who are they going to moan about, and who are they going to complain about. Are we going to fix it? Well, no, actually, I like complaining
we
about
like
that.
moaning and complaining.
Yeah.
We do that really well. We're very efficient.
Absolutely. So I think, it's culturally, I think some of the better organisations do that, or are doing it. And at the end of it, if they don't do that, and if you're not in a situation where you can say to an organisation, I think you've got a problem here, guys. I think this is what we've seen.
Right.
And having that sort of that perspective, which is slightly outside the organisation, and raising the veil is always a very powerful thing. In my sort of experience, and the better organisations grab hold of that and go with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But SDI, you've had major growth. And so you head up professional services. When you're doing talent acquisition, you must be looking for a purple squirrel, someone who can talk to people, understand cultures and multiculture, but also get the value benefits of service management and
It's
improvements.
You've hit that on the head. We've got when we've gone into that sort of space, we've got an awful lot of interest from our community. And I've always looked at the Service Desk Institute as a place where people really care enough about the community to come into an organisation like this to help it, to support it. And we've done that recently. I think what we're very clear on is what we are as an organisation, our values, and what we want from an individual coming there. So one of the first questions that we normally ask in that, I'm going to give a question away now, is part of our value set is surprise, delight, inspire. And I throw in the surprise me.
Yes.
And the people who do are usually the guys who get the end of the thing and go, he's pretty good, or she's pretty good, and that works. So it's a very finite detail. The practitioner mentality and being able to translate that into then supporting other organisations is very, very exciting. And some of the better people who've done that have been extraordinary people. And we're very lucky to work with some people like that, which is really cool.
Now, if I had had your accent, I would have been so much more successful as a consultant in the US. I just have to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Welsh accent is pretty easy on the ear.
It is quite. I think,
But you're not biased. even when he's agreeing to it, it's like,
Yes, we are superior.
I'm hoping, right? So I know it's a slightly different off subject, but I think the southern accent and the northern accent are two different accents, and the northern accent is slightly different again. And I'm not going to try and do it, but there is a difference.
That's great.
But I want to go back a little bit, I guess, to the point that you said that you identified, some of the individuals didn't realize that they weren't the only ones.
Yeah.
And that in itself, that's kind of what's stuck in my head right now is the lack of communication.
There isn't, and this is the beauty of that area was there isn't the community set up. So we've got the opportunity to do that. And that's, for me, that's very empowering.
Yeah.
For STI, it's very empowering. For the community, it's very empowering too. It's great.
Yeah, and I guess it's scary. It's just scary that it's 2015.
Yes.
And that's,
Isn't it?
that's, because I mean, we've been fortunate. We've met people from around the world over the years, whether it's through Twitter or whatnot. And, it's kind of strange because we get to these events and we meet somebody for the first time in person, that we've been speaking to for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of strange to hear that here's people that are living, around the corner and they're not talking.
Yes.
Isn't
it crazy?
That is amazing.
There is still some really scary stuff going on. I mean, I think there's still some pockets of people, actually they're probably bigger than pockets, where IT is still the place that you go to get broken things fixed.
Yeah.
It's not the place you go to for innovation and
Yes.
for business value.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that really needs to change. And I think probably SDI is in one of the organisations in a position to try and push that forward.
I think we've got a very clear vision on what the service desk is
Yeah.
and what it should be to an organisation. And I, you know, I'm a firm believer that that service desk should be leading change.
Yeah.
They should be influencing, and they should be part of the decision-making mechanisms in organisations to be listened to. And I think again, the clever organisations understand that and do that. And I think other organisations are playing catch up.
Yeah.
So we're very lucky to be able to go into organisations and say this is what it should look like.
Yeah.
Or actually no, this is what it could look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And it sounds like we probably need about 3 more sessions.
Yeah, we could
to
carry
get
on with
into
this for quite
this,
some
but,
time.
yeah.
It's-
Well, you're doing great work, David. Keep it
Yeah,
up.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for your
Thank you.
time.